It's Kalle Sauerland on Sporting Icons.
All right, Kalle, good to see you as always. Welcome back to Newcastle.
Mate, how are you? You well?
I'm very well.
That T-shirt of yours, I'm just looking at it now. Who's that?
I was literally just about to say, did I make the right decision? I was either going to wear Scorpions or Rammstein. Which one should I wear?
Scorpions, definitely. I've had Scorpions play on quite a few of our boxing shows. We did Scorpions after Abraham. They've done, Rock You Like a Hurricane.
Well, I mean, my wife loves Scorpions. I mean, for me, I'm more of like a Rammstein fan. I've seen them twice. Brilliant.
Apparently, I've never seen it, but they've got an amazing stage show. I've got to say that a little bit. I'm more sort of 80s rock, Motley Crue, things like that.
I've seen Motley Crue actually. They're good.
I saw them last week.
Yeah,
with Def Leppard. Wembley Stadium.
Now, last time you were here, I did an interview with you, and I said to you, if Stephen Robinson beats Nick Campbell, and if Franklin Ignatius beats Jose Stewart, can you put them two in the ring together? And you've done it.
Well, Martin, it was quite simple.
Matchmaking Sporting Icons, I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying, brother, and that's why you're here. But that's exactly, those fun fights is what makes undercards. Yeah, you don't want to sit there and just watch beatdowns. You're going to have young kids starting their pro career where obviously it's going to be a matched opponent, right? So you've got to mix the undercard, bit of salt and pepper on it, carve it up, and then you've got a lovely bit of filet in the middle. And that's how undercards are made. You've obviously got to have young guys. We saw Cody Smith, Ben Marksby. Those guys, of course, they're going through a process, so you can't put them in there in 50-50s if you're trying to build up a guy who's, doing his pro debut. But they have to get out. So you can't stack it out, do 10 of those and then the main event. People will be in the bar the whole time, not sitting on their seats. So it was a natural, but yes, you did call that. I remember that question. It was at the weigh-in, wasn't it? Yeah, I remember.
Very, very good fight. I mean, for me, I like when two guys who haven't had that many fights and they fight each other. And while, of course, you can't do it all the time, but once in a while, there's nothing wrong with it. And there's nothing wrong with taking a loss once in a while.
It is. I mean, anyway, but especially at heavyweight. Come on. Yeah, it's in the nature of the sport. Two big guys going at it. I mean, you don't know the outcome. We saw, Fury and Ngannou announced this week. People, can knock it all they like. Well, watch it, because the one guy, I don't know much about UFC, not really the biggest fan, but he's certainly, I look at some of his clips, okay, now he can bang. But, can he bang against the Gypsy King? So we're all going to watch it. We can knock it, but we're going to watch it. And at heavyweight, anything can happen. Don't blink or you'll miss it. So, yeah, absolutely. Preaching to the choir here.
Now, you've announced a couple of lads that I know very, very well in Dan Toward and Ben Marksby. You've signed them up under the Wasserman banner. From personal experience, I know them. You've signed two quality lads.
North East takeover. You have noticed it, yeah? You smell it, yeah? It's more coming. Yeah, look, first of all, I love promoting up here. But you've got to look at places where you get that vibe. Listen, I'm from London, but I've got to admit, it's tough, right? Because you haven't got that local following as such. Yeah, you've got some of the Essex lad, Johnny Fisher, the big lad from Matchroom. You see, he does a few thousand tickets, but in London it's a bit different. Yeah? Whereas when you look at Cody Smith, 200 travelling fans to London for his pro debut, he's going to have a couple of hundred here. Yorkshiremen singing away Saturday night, and that's what it's. That's what boxing's about. You go on a bit of an away day. And that's what it is, but it's really nice to come here. You've always got a good vibe. Smaller shows, the bigger shows we've done up here, they've always been fantastic.
Do you think that you'll be back up here again before the end of the year?
Well, I mean, we haven't really got much choice now, do we? That's why I keep signing North East fighters.
Okay, so moving on then. Again, last time I spoke with you, I asked you any updates on the World Boxing Super Series. You said that you were currently talking. Any updates on anything coming out of that?
Yeah, I mean, We're looking at the format, things that we can change and improve. It's not going to be within the next months, but something to keep your eyes peeled for 2024.
And Filip Hrgovic has agreed to fight Demsey McKean.
You're good on your sources, aren't
I am. Well, in fact, I actually heard about this quite a few weeks ago, so you guys have been keeping that under wraps for quite some time.
we have, but we're just about to announce.
When and where?
Well, I'll give you the month. Can't say where. It'll be August, and it will be before Usyk Dubois, because the winner of that fight will fight Usyk Dubois. The winner of Usyk Dubois, not both on the same night. I know people associate me now with tag team boxing, but no, it won't be tag team. It's not Hrgovic and McKean versus Usyk and Dubois. No, it's the winner of the two. See it as like a bracket, semi-finals and final.
Now the thing is that with Filip Hrgovic, if he's going to be successful, of course, like the IBF ordered him to fight Usyk before Daniel Dubois got his shot. They agreed to allow the WBSS to go next, so Filip Hrgovic is up next. And all I'm hearing a lot is, if Usyk gets past Daniel Dubois, then he's fighting Fury, but that's not a guarantee yet.
Well, it can't be now, can it? He's fighting Ngannou, so that's out of question. And even if it was the case, but in the time that we received the mandatory letters, February, I don't know. I've had a daughter in the meantime. She's already at nursery, right? So a lot has happened in that time. I mean, let's wind it back. We had the Michael Hunter situation. We had this situation. We had the Zhang fight. We had, the whole thing. It's just been one hell of a ride, and it's time now. We've been behaving, but if we get pushed around again, then we'll get the claws out.
Now, last time Filip Hrgovic fought a big, tall, rangy, strong southpaw. It wasn't the best performance. He got the win, of course.
No,
but should he make a statement in this one, do you think?
Yeah. Listen, a statement at heavyweight's always, you've got to go out in there and get the win. That's always say that heavyweight. It's different to other weight class. But at the same time, there's no denying that the Zhang performance wasn't his finest hour. You need to look a little bit around the whole scenario of it as well. This is a guy that everyone knows in boxing since many years before he turned pro. Everyone knew how tough a guy he is. We've all seen the leaked sparring sessions of him and Deontay Wilder, which, by the way, isn't one of those leaked sparring sessions where he puts him to the ground. No, it was actually just a 50-50 tear-up between the two of them, so it's not one of those nasty ones that someone's put out there. It's actually an advert for boxing, almost. Yeah, it was in the David Haye camp. Was it 6 years ago now? So it must be coming up to 6 years, around that. So it's a long time ago, and we all know that Wilder can bang. This Filip is for me one of the best heavyweights I've ever seen. He had an off night against Zhang. His father passed away 2 months before. It was a horrible time. But we got through it. Sometimes you need that bit of luck as well. And with all the bad luck he'd had, it was due to him. And Zhang, we've seen now Zhang as well, how good Zhang is. I must admit, I'll hold my hands up. I didn't think Zhang would last 3 rounds with Hrgovic, but he really showed he's got an engine. And it's been an interesting rematch as well with Joyce now. But I don't think that was a flash in the pan, because you can see the performance against Hrgovic as well. He's top fighter, Zhang. Big bang Zhang.
Big bang Zhang indeed, and hopefully Joe Joyce gets him in a rematch. Okay, so obviously, you've done a lot of shows across Europe and everything, like Germany and that for example. When are you going to take Wasserman out there?
Wait, to Germany? We were there last November. Right now, we thinned down our German squad to put more. I mean, at the end of the day, at the beginning of the year, look at where can we invest, where shouldn't we invest. I've looked at the German, what's available. We've recently released Christina Hammer, lovely lady, 2-time world championship. I'm sure she'll go on and still do some good fights. It's just not our focus right now, because there isn't that talent that glares you in the face. We've got Abbas Baru, who is absolutely fantastic, training with Adam Booth. He's got a European title fight, latest in October. And then we've also got Denis Radovan, who's going to fight the final eliminator for the IBF middleweight championship of the world. So I'd rather focus on a bit, because a bit is more in Germany. It's not like the UK. They want to see world titles. They're not interested in German championships and things like that.
Well, they love the European title over there, don't they?
Yeah, they love a European title, but unfortunately, that time, that golden age of German boxing, which lasted, let's face it, lasted 20, 30 years, the talent isn't there right now. And the two that we have, we believe in very much. And of course, we'll keep signing German boxers when they're interesting. But right now, those two already have paths. Abbas with the European title, Denis with the IBF world title final eliminator. We'll let them take their paths, and I believe in both of them, and I believe both can become not only European but world champions. So, but it's going to be very interesting with them.
Although one of your guys, Maris Bradis, I'm a big fan of him, wasn't a great. Well, it's a very close fight, let's be honest, against Jao Patai. But what's happening with him? I know he's out.
It was one of those ones, tale two halves, wasn't it? It was, he no excuses. He slept the first 6 rounds. Then he got put on his arse for the first time in his whole career. And he came back to the corner, I think he was in shock. But he woke up and then absolutely smashed him to fucking pieces. He broke his jaw in 4 places, his nose twice. He had him out cold on his shoulder twice. Like, you go back and look at it if you don't believe me. Watch the first 6 rounds, you think it's totally 2 different fighters. So, Jay's a tough guy. I saw he's supposed to fight Riakporhe now. Marius will be back in the fall. He was supposed to fight in Edinburgh, actually, next week on Channel 5. But we sort of figured in the middle of camp there was a bit of a setback, and we said, no, let's rather take a bit of a different path, but he'll box at least once, if not twice this year still. So hopefully, he's sitting right behind Riakporhe in that, was it number 4 position, I think. And for me, yeah, he had a shit start in Australia, went down under, took the risk. That happens, happens in sport. He sees it like that as well. But he's still, for me, it's not even a discussion like I wouldn't have for long. He's still by far the best cruiserweight in the world. With a belt, without a belt. He's had the belt 3 times. I don't think there's a cruiserweight. I look at all the guys at the moment. I don't think anyone can handle him in full force. Of course, he's getting older though, so it becomes more and more interesting, I guess.
Well, to be fair, when you look at, say, Oleksandr Usyk's previous opponents, it's only like Maris Bradis who arguably beat him. Arguably.
Yeah, I mean, I had it a draw. Gone down. I've done a recount though about 10 times. Love that. One of my favourite fights I've ever promoted. Just that so high skill level. And yeah, I've had it for Usyk, I've had it for Bradis, I've had it a draw, but I can't get bored watching that fight. And actually, what's interesting is the last round. Had he nicked the last round, it would have been a draw on the cards, and it would have gone to the 4th official, which was the WBSS rules, and the fourth official scored it for Bradis. So it was would have been very interesting, yeah. But he is, he's a great fighter. Ask Usyk who his toughest fight ever was. He won't waste a second to tell you who it is.
All right, let's close off with what's the update with KSI and KSI and Tommy Fury, my bad, and Chris Eubank Jr. Who's he fighting?
Well, look, on KSI Tommy, we publicly announced we'd agreed weights because people were in that space. People need to keep being informed, or else they start, panicking. But yeah, no, we're going through red lines with the lawyers at the moment, and we're pretty close.
Kalle, always good to see you.
Thank you, my friend. See you soon.